It was a cold autumn night, and thick fog enveloped the city's streets. I was sitting in an old cafe tucked away in a narrow alley, sipping my coffee and reading a book about urban legends. Suddenly, I felt a piercing gaze. I looked up to see a pale-faced man sitting in the dark corner of the cafe, watching me with his cold eyes. His features were indistinct beneath a wide-brimmed hat and a long coat that covered his body. A shiver ran down my spine, and I tried to ignore him, but every time I looked around, he was still staring. When I finally attempted to leave, the man vanished as if he had never been there. I began seeing the same man everywhere I went. In the morning, he stood at the street corner. At work, he watched me from the window. Even in my dreams, he appeared, staring at me with lifeless eyes. I couldn't ignore this eerie presence any longer. I decided to talk to one of my friends, John, who worked as a private investigator. After I told him the story, he said in a low voice, "Maybe this person is looking for something from you, or perhaps he is something else." After extensive investigations, I discovered that this man wasn't just a stranger. He was one of a group known as the Unknown, spirits of people erased from history, with no memory or trace left behind. I started digging through old archives and talking to people who claimed to have seen these spirits. The deeper I delved, the more I began to see the unknown, men, women, and children with faint features, haunting me everywhere. They spoke to me in unintelligible words, but their eyes told terrifying tales of injustice and oblivion. One night, I was at home when I heard whispers coming from every corner. I looked around and saw their shadows moving in the darkness. Suddenly, the first man appeared before me and said in a raspy voice, "We need your help. You are the only one who can restore our identities." At that moment, I realized I was part of this nightmare. There was no escaping it. They followed me everywhere, haunting my dreams and reality. I decided to confront these spirits. I went to a secluded place where the shadows had first appeared to me. There, they gathered around me. "Dozens of unknown spirits," the first man said. "We need you to help us regain what we lost." The spirits began to tell their stories, of their lives and how they were erased. Their tales were horrifying, filled with pain and suffering. They were victims of a grand conspiracy to erase certain individuals from existence. I discovered that a secret organization was behind the erasure of these people's identities, deeming them a threat to society. They used advanced techniques to erase their memories and every trace of them. But as I delved deeper, the organization began to hunt me down. I couldn't trust anyone anymore. The closer I got to the truth, the greater the danger I faced. I started to feel like I was becoming one of the unknown. The shadows drew nearer, and the voices grew louder. I decided to flee to a faraway place where no one could find me. I headed to a remote village in the mountains, hoping to escape everything. But even there, I was not alone. On quiet nights, I could hear their whispers in the wind and see their shadows moving among the trees. One day, I received a mysterious letter signed by an unknown person. The letter contained an old map pointing to an underground location. I felt that this map might be the key to understanding what was happening. Following the map led me to the entrance of a dark, abandoned cave. I cautiously entered the cave, using an old lantern to light my way. The walls were covered in strange engravings and indecipherable symbols. The deeper I went, the clearer the whispers became. I reached a vast underground chamber where I found a collection of old books and documents that told the stories of the unknown and how they were erased. They were scientists, criminals, even innocent children. Each had a horrifying story of how they were hidden from the world. As I read these documents, I sensed someone behind me. I turned quickly to see the first man standing there, looking at me with eyes full of sorrow and pain. He said in a trembling voice, "You know the truth now, but time is running out." The shadows gathered around me, the spirits of the unknown. They screamed and demanded justice. The world around me began to collapse, and I started losing consciousness. I woke up in my bed, as if everything had been a dream, but the evidence was still with me, the map and the documents. I decided to publish the truth, no matter the cost. I started writing down everything I had discovered and released it online and in newspapers. After publishing the truth, I became hunted by the organization. They knew I had discovered too much. New faces began to watch me everywhere I went. One day, I received a direct threat that I would be next. I decided to run again, but this time the shadows were faster. One night, I felt a cold hand on my shoulder. I turned to find myself surrounded by the unknown. They looked at me with eyes full of expectation and hope. The first man said, "Now you have become one of us." At that moment, I realized I no longer existed. I had been erased from history. There was no trace of me left. I had become a ghost, wandering in the darkness, searching for someone who could help me regain my identity. My story remains a warning to anyone daring to uncover the secrets of the unknown. The world is full of tormented spirits seeking justice, even after being erased from existence. So be careful, for you might be next. And if you see a pale-faced person staring at you in the dark, it could be one of the unknown, or perhaps it is me. We remain here, waiting for someone to help us, waiting for someone to listen to our stories. But until that day comes, we will remain in the darkness, remain in the unknown. Let me know in comments if you like it, and don't forget to like and subscribe.